Long ago in Iran, it was uncommon for women to step outside their homes. The streets were quiet, curtains always drawn, and women moved like shadows, visible only within the walls of their houses. If a woman stepped out, she was seen as shameless and unchaste. Travelers would leave their wives and daughters with a trustworthy man or the local judge, a man whose reputation was like a towering wall of trust, shielding them from harm and temptation. Especially those traveling to Mecca entrusted their wives and children to the judge. Back then, such a journey was like crossing deserts and mountains with no certainty of returning alive. Once, a young merchant had just married. He carried the sense of youth and hope, but the sweetness of his recent wedding still warm in his heart. He wished to go to Mecca, yet he could neither divorce his wife nor leave her alone. The dilemma felt like a stone lodged in his throat. His heart stayed with her, but his feet were bound for the journey. She was so beautiful, it seemed God had painted her. Her face glowed like moonlight, illuminating the dark city nights, causing anyone who saw her to pause in awe. The merchant loved his wife dearly. His gaze overflowed with affection, as if he knew she was the rarest treasure in the world. He told his wife, "Tomorrow I will take you to the city and leave you with the judge." His voice trembled, as if every word was drawn from the deepest corners of his heart. She said, "Husband, prepare my yearly expenses and a room for me. I will not leave it, and I will devote myself to worship until you return." Her voice was calm, like a woman whose resolve came from true faith. The merchant agreed. The next day, he prepared his wife's yearly expenses and went to the judge. "Judge, I wish to go to Mecca, and I trust no one but you. I leave my wife alive in your care." Hidden anxiety flickered in his eyes, as if he gave the judge his very heart with every word. The judge replied, "Merchant, bring her. I will care for your wife as if she were my own." His voice was calm and assured, like a man whose word had been trusted for years. The merchant trusted him and said, "My wife will still stay in a room with her yearly provisions until I return." The judge agreed and prepared a room. The merchant took his wife with her yearly provisions. The room was simple, yet soft light streamed through the window, a perfect place for worship and silence. The merchant asked the judge for a written note. The judge wrote that on a certain date. He accepted the merchant's wife in trust until the merchant returned, and he signed it. The merchant departed for Mecca. Months passed, and the woman never left her room, dedicating her days and nights to worship. One day, the judge thought, "Perhaps the woman has died. I must see what she does." A spark of curiosity lit quietly in his heart. While the woman was praying, the judge suddenly entered and saw her glowing like the moon, lighting up the room. He felt deeply in love, unable to leave, as if seeing true beauty for the first time. The closer the judge came, the more she stepped back. Fear shone on her face, but her faith was as steadfast as a rock. The judge had a hidden basement for criminals, so well concealed that it seemed invisible. Its hatch was like a mouth of darkness, untouched for years. It had only an iron hatch where the judge would sit, cold and lifeless. It resembled old prisons, holding 1,000 hidden stories. One day, with no one home except a 3 or 4 years old child, the house lay in heavy silence. The judge thought, "This child won't understand anything." Pride flashing foolishly in his eyes, he entered the merchant's wife's room, dragged her to the basement, and imprisoned her. She vanished into the darkness, where even light dared not enter. No one knew who was in the basement. The judge brought her a piece of bread every other day. The merchant's wife endured every torment. Her body trembled, but her faith did not. Meanwhile, a prostitute died, a death that would become the key to a great lie. The judge was told the prostitute had died. Seizing the chance, he declared the merchant's wife dead in a notice, covering the city with it, burying his crime behind another body. 7 or 8 months later, the merchant returned from Mecca. He went to the judge, showing the note, and said he had come for his wife. The judge said, "I offer my condolences. Your wife is dead. If you doubt, ask the people." The merchant could not bear it and complained to the king. His heart shattered like glass falling from a height. The king summoned the judge. "The merchant's wife was in your care. Why is she dead?" His voice was firm, and the palace burned in silence. The judge sorrowed that the merchant's wife was dead, his face as cold and unfeeling as a stone. The king believed him. Authority can sometimes blind even the keenest eyes. It should be noted, kings of old often wandered at night, wearing warm clothes, walking among the people to learn the city's news. In the dark nights, the king walked unnoticed as an ordinary man. At the same time, meanwhile, the city believed the merchant's wife dead. The king, in disguise, entered a gambling house. The air was thick with smoke and heavy leather. He stood at the door, unrecognized, and was invited to watch the game. Flickering light from the lamps danced across the players' faces. Gamblers played until weary and wanted a new game. Someone suggested playing a role game, and a fresh excitement spread among them. In the game, one man played the king, mimicking his gestures and tone mockingly. A bold man said, "Could it be that you're like the king who believed the judge's fake notice?" The king heard this and thought, could it be true? His eyes narrowed. A spark of doubt ignited. The next day, the king sat on his throne and ordered the bellman brought to him. The palace fell silence, heavy with anticipation. It was brought before the king. "Why did you say last night, while playing in the gambling house, that perhaps someone believed the judge's fake notice?" The king asked. The bold man thought, should I speak or stay silent? Cold sweat dripped down his forehead and said, "O king, my lord, if I speak, will you not order me hanged?" Fear trembled in his voice. The king replied, "No, why would I give such an order?" His tone was calm, but firm. The bold man said, "O king, I ask one thing of you." The king said, "Ask whatever you wish, and I shall grant it." For a moment the air brightened with hope. The bold man said, "Give me your crown for one day, so I may reveal what I know to you and the people." His request was bold, like one holding a great truth in his hand. The king agreed and summoned his ministers. "For one day I give this crown to the bold man to reveal the truth." Murmurs spread, but the king was resolute. Then he placed the crown upon the baldman's head. Its weight fell heavily, as heavy as the responsibility of truth. The bold man ordered the judge, all who signed the notice, and the merchant brought before him. The room filled with terrified gazes. He asked the judge, "Did the merchant entrust his wife to you?" The judge's face paled slightly. The judge said, "Yes, he entrusted her to me." The bold man asked, "Did you give him a note?" A brief silence fell between them. The judge admitted, "Yes." The bold man asked, "Then what happened to the merchant's wife?" The tension made even breaths slow. The judge quickly pulled out the notice. "Everyone has seen this. The merchant's wife is dead." He held it like a shield before him. The bold man said, "If I find the merchant's wife alive, what then?" The judge's eyes widened slightly. The judge said, "Hang me, kill me. Thought such a thing is impossible." The bold man said, "Very well, don't complain to me later." The judge replied, "No, I won't complain." The bold man ordered all who had signed the notice imprisoned together. Faces turned pale. Then he took the merchant to a separate room. "Do you have the judge's note?" The merchant's hands trembled. The merchant said, "Yes," and handed it to the bold man. His eyes were full of hope and anxiety. The bold man, along with the merchant, the king, and some servants, went to the judge's house. He gathered everyone in the judge's house and asked one by one, "Where is the merchant's wife?" Fear cast dark shadows in their eyes. Everyone said, "We don't know. We haven't seen the merchant's wife." Was it honesty or fear? Impossible to tell. The bold man sent everyone out, keeping only the small child. "Tell me, where did the judge take the merchant's wife?" The child's eyes were full of innocence and doubt. The child remained silent, as if their small world did not know what to say. The bold man gently patted the child and gave some treats. "Now, tell me where the merchant's wife is." Kindness slowly unlocked the child's tongue. The child said, "Come, I will show you." Their voice was soft, yet full of truth. The bold man, merchant, king, and servants entered the room where the judge sat. The air felt heavier than ever. The child quickly lifted the small carpet where the judge sat and opened the basement hatch. The mouth of darkness yawned. The bold man pulled the merchant's wife from the basement. She was skin and bones from enduring the judge's cruelty, her face like a shadow of the past. They brought her to the palace. Light fell upon her frail face, and she seemed to breathe life anew. The bold man asked the merchant's wife everything. She recounted the judge's cruelty. Her voice was weak, but the truth in was strong. Then the bold man brought all who had signed the notice. "Why did you approve it unjustly? Did you see the merchant's wife dead?" A heavy silence fell. They said, "By God, we did not know if she was dead." Fear and regret replayed across their faces. The bold man asked, "Then why did you sign?" They replied, "It is not our fault. The judge forced us." Words grasped like a drawing person's last straw. Then the bold man brought the merchant's wife to the judge. "This is the merchant's wife. Now what do you say?" The judge's face turned grey. The judge lowered his head, silent. His silence was a confession greater than any words. The bold man ordered the judge hanged at the crossroads and all who unjustly signed the notice imprisoned. Then he respectfully placed the crown back on the king's head, his voice calm, like someone who had fulfilled his duty. "I want nothing more, for I have saved that innocent woman." Simple words, yet heavy with meaning. Dear friends, thank you for staying with us until the end. To hear more stories, join us and support us with likes and comments.